Former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has been attacked by goons in Limuru, Bibrioni, in Kiambu County. These events have happened on the 28th day of November 2024, and it comes days after his security detail had been withdrawn. You ask yourself, who is the beneficiary? In this video, I want to take you through a comprehensive journey of how the detail or the security detail of His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua was withdrawn, the consequences, and what could have happened if he was harmed. So if you're new to this channel, you can subscribe, like the video, and don't forget to leave a comment. So I want you to understand that it is always important to know what is happening in your country. Now, Rigathi Gachagua is an embattled man. As an impeached deputy president, he could be politically idle, for lack of a better word. And for government or for a sitting administration, it is very difficult for them to run operations while a rival, an opposition figure in the name of Rigathi Gachagua, is gaining ground and momentum. So the government feels that Rigathi Gachagua is a threat to their political formation, to the administration, and probably to the delivery of their service. And that is why his security detail was withdrawn. But who is Rigathi Gachagua? You realize that because of sympathy, because of people feeling that it was not justified for him to be removed by both the National Assembly and the Senate, people felt like they wanted to side with him. You remember the day he was leaving the Karen hospital after Dr. Gikonyo discharged him. People felt like he was embattled. He required sympathy. He was in need of sympathy. They needed to side with them. And you know the justice system of Kenya, like you cannot go against it. If the Supreme Court, for instance, nullifies something, that is final. If it's approved, that is final. That is one thing about a democracy, okay, where all the arms of government are put in place, whether you feel it was probably doctored or not. Today, Rigathi Gachagua, just like any other day, he is gaining momentum and gaining ground within the Mount Kenya region. And one of the events that really disrupted the status quo was last Sunday, when he attended an event in Ihora Stadium, where it was alleged that it was a peace mission. It was a kind of a peace caravan mission organized by government, allegedly. And he was received very well. He was received like a king. And there were chants of Ruto must go, and everybody in Murang'a was just moving with him, moving with the crowds. Although he was denied a chance to talk, he was not given a chance to speak in the Ihora Stadium on Sunday. However, it was a political statement that he had Mount Kenya at the helm. He had the mountain at his helm. And this is a direct threat to William Ruto, who is president, head of state, head of government, and a man who only rose to power because Mount Kenya region gave him 47% of all the garnered votes that he got. So why was he attacked? Why was his security detail withdrawn? And what are the repercussions, if you may? Number one, the security detail was withdrawn because he is assumed to be in opposition. He has gone bare knuckles with government. He is attacking government on their manifesto. You saw how he was able to criticize the Adani deal. In fact, he faced the president head on, saying that his mission, or the reason why he was removed, the reason why he was impeached, because he was the only man in cabinet who could tell the president the truth. And you keep on asking yourself, what if he was silent? If he was silent, chances are very high maybe his security detail would not have been withdrawn. But for his political gain, he has to assume the bravado, the people's person, the people's deputy president. He has to take the risk. Whether his security detail is withdrawn or not, he has to be there. And the security detail were withdrawn so that he can at least be fearful, so that he can buy some fear. But he did not buy fear. Okay? So what could have happened today? Maybe those goons were there to send some message that you are no longer untouchable. However, remember that power lies with the people. And the more they attack, the more he becomes popular. For instance, you can bet that the headlines today, on the news today, he will be making headlines. A man who has been attacked. And you see the psychology of the mob. They side with the one who assumes to be weak. And in this case, the president assumes to be strong. Looks like he is a strong man fighting a very weak man. The deputy president rejected, or the deputy president impeached, assumes the stature of a very weak man who is gaining ground. And therefore, according to the psychology of the mob, they are going to side with him. So he's going to make headlines. He'll be on headlines tomorrow. In Limuru today, at the body of that young man, Gachagua was amongst the people who were in the dais, in the VIP tent where leaders were present. And the goons started by removing and uninstalling the tents, breaking the chairs. And he had to be whisked for safety. He had to be removed from the scene of crime so that he can be taken to a safer place. What do you think that means going forward? That Rigathi Gachagua is required to buy some fear so that even when he attends a public gathering, he should tame himself maybe. That's the kind of message they are trying to say. But do you think Rigathi Gachagua will buy fear? Do you think he will stop attending meetings in Mount Kenya region? You see, one thing about the people and the danger of having such goons is that there were people who were injured. And although the former deputy president was whisked for safety, there were casualties. There were people who were injured. Property was destroyed. The danger of having those goons is that when people assume or when people feel that their leader is no longer safe, they take it as a mandate to protect their own. And in that rush, you see, in that push and forth, in that back and forth, they could injure one another. Because if you infiltrate goons within a meeting, and there are people who believe that this is their hero, so they will be forced to defend their hero. So maybe in the case of self-defense, people will be injured, property will be destroyed. So whoever sent those goons did a bad one. Whoever was trying to sell fear, that was a misconception. That was a misadvice. It was wrong, it was misguided, and it should be condemned with the strongest words possible. You see, one of the things that the government should do is to ignore completely. You see, when you remove a man from power, he will fight back. Because you did not crush the enemy completely according to the laws of power. So one of the problems is that he will be gaining more and more power, more and more sympathy, more and more momentum, and by the time he is done, this administration will be having a very serious opposition. So I don't know whether you understand why his security detail was withdrawn, and some of the reasons maybe you can share with us. And also, if you think that these goons did wrongly to attack a former deputy president and disrupt a meeting, a burial, even respect for the dead is no longer there, let us know in the comment section. Until then, this is Jenganjero. We said that on this podcast, we will not only be bringing you matches who are looking for husbands and wives, we can also revolve around everything that is happening within society. Until then, this is Jenganjero. God bless you. Bye-bye.